Shut up and sit down.
You're listening to the Cheaters Never Pin podcast, a proud part of the Section 328 family. Follow us on Twitter at CheatersInVRPin. Now, live from ringside, it's Mr. Workrate and JC. We back.
We are.
We back. We back at the Cheaters Never Pin podcast. How's everybody doing out there in podcast land?
I'm pretty sure they can't respond back.
They can.
Maybe they are, but we can't hear them.
It's true. But you're listening to Cheaters Never Pin, the Triangle's #1 wrestling podcast, because I said so.
You are an authority.
I am on these things. I'm JC, and next to me here at the commentary desk is my buddy Tom, Mr. Workrate. Hi, Tom.
Hi, JC.
Boy, we got a fun show tonight, I think, maybe. In theory, on paper.
Yeah, well, virtual paper. We don't actually. Well, you actually physically wrote it down this time.
I did.
You?
I did it on paper, and then I typed it up. But yeah, we're gonna talk about WWE Payback, which is coming up this coming Sunday. So we're gonna go through that card and tell you what we think.
The anticipation on that one.
It's building. We're going to talk about the ratings for Raw and SmackDown and how abysmal that was and how they can fix it and why they can fix it and why they're down. And we're just going to spout off opinions in that section.
Yeah, we're just going to make up stuff. We're not authorities by any means.
I'm going to melt this. Plans are changing. Plans are changing. We got a 10 count. A remarkably less sad 10 count than usual.
Because we gotta have one positive, well, not necessarily positive, but less deathy, I guess.
I ended on the closest thing I could find.
I mean, we had 3 people die last week, so
yeah, it means we get.
I think we hit our quota.
Yes, and then we're gonna finish up our match exchange from last week and give each other our match exchange homework for next week.
And we kind of talked about this a little bit before we started this, but this is fun. This is probably your best idea for a segment that we've had.
I know. I'm excited. I found a great one for you to watch this week, and I got a page and a half of notes on the concession stand brawl, which we'll get to. Oh, dude.
You just kept sending me texts about the match, and I was very happy with that. I did not take really that many notes or.
Oh, I got play-by-play notes, my friend.
Well, yeah, I mean that's part of that match too, is Lance Russell in general, but.
It's great.
But we won't jump the gun there.
No, we'll save that. But yeah. But if you're listening to us, one, thank you for listening. We appreciate your patronage here at the Cheaters Never Pin podcast.
We do, even if you don't give us any money.
Right. And if you wanted to give us money, you could do it at patreon.com/section328 or go to the cheatersneverpin.com and click the button on the front and donate that way. But we'll get to that.
I didn't want to jump into that either because the last time I tried to do something like that, I got scolded greatly. So,
but you learned your lesson, right?
I did. Now I don't talk anymore.
If you like us, you can always go to facebook.com/cheatersneverpin. Give us a big blue thumbs up there. We do appreciate that.
That's not a euphemism.
Nope. You can also send us lots of love on the Twitter at cheatersinvrpin. We appreciate that. And I'd like it if people send us opinions and stuff to use instead of it looking like me begging on Twitter for 48 hours.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I haven't been talking too much wrestling on the Twitter machine lately. Just my schedule's been kind of iffy, so I end up sometimes not watching it live. So if you really want my wrestling hot takes on SmackDown at 10 in the morning, it just doesn't have that same feel.
Send them to us, and then we'll talk about them here on the show.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's the way to do it.
If you've got opinions or just any kind of observations. Yeah, 24/7.
Oh yeah.
Just send in our direction.
Right. And then if you really, really love the show, go to iTunes and rate and review us, and that'll move us up the algorithms. We have 1 5-star rating. Thank you to that 1 5-star rating.
Checks in the mail.
Yep. You can also find us, along with iTunes, on Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, SoundCloud, YouTube, and stream us on our host at Spreaker. Boom. Let's talk Payback.
Yeah. Let me switch tabs here on the iPad.
So, overall thoughts and impressions on this card before we go match by match and give kind of our predictions and hopes and fears.
It's definitely a wrestling card. I mean, it's not a train wreck or anything like that. I mean, there are decent matches on it.
That's next month. That's Backlash.
Yeah. I mean, there is the House of Horrors match, which may end up being a train wreck. I don't know. Who knows? But just as long as there aren't maggots in it. But I mean, there are a couple well-built matches going into this, so it's not something I'd necessarily want to drop, say, 30, 40, but I don't know how much pay-per-views are nowadays or were a couple of years ago when people actually bought them.
Oh, they're still $55.
Oh, okay. So it's not something I'd necessarily want to drop that kind of money on to watch, but at the same time, it's something that I'd actually want to see on the network at least. So it's not something that I'm totally looking at and go, oh, it's got a few decent matches on it. So
yeah,
it'll be a fun Sunday.
Exactly. It's wrestling, so I'll be happy. It feels $10 worth.
Yeah.
It does not feel $55 worth.
It's
and also,
$10 pay-per-view.
WWE continuing its great trend of cultural relevance in the year 2017, using a Papa Roach song for the theme. Brilliant.
There's another one?
Yeah, I'm looking at the Wikipedia article. Hold on. It is Born for Greatness is the official theme song for WWE Payback. Who even knew Papa Roach was still recording?
Is it a Last Resort like remix?
Hell if they've probably played it 30 times and I've just tuned it out.
Now whenever I think of like Last Resort though, I just think of the one tweet that I saw that was somebody just tweets out, "Cut my jeans into pieces. Now I am wearing jorts." And that's what I hear every time I hear that song.
Why is that not Cena's theme?
Now,
come on.
Well, we do have the kind of crossover ability to do that. So who knows? Maybe next WrestleMania.
That'd be fun.
If there isn't another proposal.
We're going to be so big that our voice is going to be screaming, play that song, and WWE is going to hear it. We're going to be that popular in 12 months, Tom.
We're that popular now.
We're going to be...
They just don't want you to know that yet.
Right. They don't see our Spreaker numbers. Lol.
No.
All right. Let's run down this show.
Okay.
First, not a match, but Finn Balor is the special guest of Miz TV on the pre-show. Okay.
And yeah, I mean, you're a bigger Finn fan than I am. This is shocking news, but I'm not overly knowledgeable with Finn's mic skills necessarily. So I mean, I have faith and trust in Miz, but I'm curious to see kind of what, if anything, comes out of this. I think it's more just a case of trying to get Finn on the card without necessarily putting him in full blast after the injuries and kind of the concussion that maybe wasn't a concussion, that maybe was a concussion.
Right.
So
as long as they keep it to where he kind of speaks with a purpose and it's not the general "we've overwritten this promo for you" promo, he's fine. He'll be fine. He's not you know how much I love Devitt, but like he's not the greatest mic worker of all time, but he's certainly not Kalisto. So he'll be fine. I'm not worried about it. But I don't get the point. Maybe it's setting something up that's going to go into this card somewhere, and we'll have a match. But because Miz isn't even on the card, so maybe they'll have a match at some point.
Yeah, I mean, there may be a build. There may be like a little minute and a half conflict, or I don't know. It's probably going to build something a little bit later on.
And they've already kind of set up that his next challenge is Wyatt anyway. So
yeah.
So that's the thing. And then also on the pre-show, a tag team matchup between Enzo Amore and Big Cass and the club of Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson.
Collectively known as the people that we thought would potentially come out of WrestleMania with the tag team titles until the Hardys showed up.
Right. Start the night off good and give the faces a win. Right? It's the pre-show. Make people happy. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, I would
sure.
think so. Maybe. Yeah, I don't
know. And does it even matter?
That's kind of my point.
That's
like,
the issue.
I'm going, well, for booking purposes, I mean, these guys have faced each other enough times in the last 9 months or whatever that it doesn't really matter at this point. So
I'm pretty sure this is the match I'll see next month at the house show.
Yeah.
It will still be going. And I'll still be like, cool. That whole intro's stale. Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson are good wrestlers. Why are they locked with these two? And then I'll be like, okay, I'm going to go get something to drink.
It's really at a point now, and I don't know if it's eventually building to something, but Gallows and Anderson, I mean, I love them. I want to hear them talk more because they talk well. And with some kind of gimmick, it could work out. But, I mean, they're basically... I mean, they could be Hall and Nash. Just the way that they kind of have this kind of connectivity with each other and just can work off of each other and kind of almost give a coolness vibe to each other. But they're not being placed in that kind of position. They kind of need that Bullet Club-esque type of group so that they can work off of each other more so. And
yeah,
they're plateauing right now. Plateauing. They're leveling off right now, and they need that next step
for sure. I mean, and they're great at the goofy comedy stuff, but they need to still have that. That's always been the good thing about them is they can be funny and abrasive and edgy and badass all at the same time. And right now they're just kind of goofy and funny, and so they feel like they're missing something, which they are.
So one of my side segue here. One of my favorite follows on Twitter is Kojima of New Japan Pro Wrestling and the leader of the Bread Club. Because if there's one thing Kojima loves, it is bread. Kojima has been trying in, I guess, the past, 6 months or so, maybe more, to have his Twitter feed have at least some English tweets along with the Japanese kanji tweets that I can't read. And generally his English tweets are, "We had a good day today. I am very happy to be a wrestler. Now I want bread." And bread is almost always involved, and it's gotten to the point where a bread club is a thing. But he mentioned something, and Carl Anderson shot him. I guess he posted a picture of him and Carl wrestling, and Carl had mentioned something back to him. And when Kojima thanked him, he thanked Chad. So I'm like, I kind of like the fact that Chad Too Bad's still kind of around even in Japan, apparently. I don't know, but so.
I'd be great if there was just one episode of Raw that was Southpaw Regional Wrestling. That would be fantastic. Just have
I'd enjoy
Rick
it.
out there slinging chicken.
Yeah.
Woo, tangy. Woo, crispy. All right. Kevin Owens versus Chris Jericho for the U.S. Championship. If Jericho wins, he will also go to SmackDown, since that's where that belt lives. Owens wins, because Jericho's got to go do Fozzy stuff. And Owens already has a feud with AJ set up.
So
Done.
So if Jericho won, would he go to SmackDown and Owens not go?
Owens would stay on SmackDown. Jericho would also go to SmackDown.
Okay, so Owens went to SmackDown,
Correct.
took the title with him, but had the, I guess, stipulated rematch clause with Jericho. But since the belt, yeah, okay, fine.
Yeah, exactly. This shakeup was in the wrong place.
It doesn't
It
matter.
should have been next week. Yep, but Owens wins.
Yeah.
And then he goes and feuds AJ, and the world rejoices, and SmackDown actually is decent again.
And it'll be a good match. I mean,
oh yeah.
And again, it still amazes me that Chris Jericho at 46 or 47 or whatever he is still putting together really good matches. And
it's that DDP yoga, son. Trust. I'm a user and a believer.
Well, if you're a user, that helps with DDP yoga. I mean, look what happened to Jake Roberts.
God, moving on.
Anyway.
Right. Tag team.
Speaking of which, the Hardys.
Speaking of users, Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy take on Cesaro and Sheamus for the tag team championships. So there's this weird tension thing that's been brewing but them end up shaking hands the last 2 weeks on Raw.
Yeah.
So Cesaro and Sheamus are turning heel here, or they're turning on each other, right? I'm not quite sure which.
Sheamus has never truly been face. I mean,
right. He's kind of naturally evolved that way, but he never actually turned.
Yeah, he's hasn't changed his style. He's been more appealing to fans, but he still hasn't changed his style. He's still doing heel mannerisms and, cheating and doing the things that heels do. Whereas Cesaro's been on the straight and narrow and, stayed the face kind of thing. And that was part of the whole odd couple aspect to them. I don't know. I mean, I want to say they've got merch now, and the fact that they're doing the matching outfits, and they seem dedicated to this whole tag thing. But I mean, with the Hardys in, and who else came over? I guess Heath Slater and Rhino came over.
Right. And technically the Revival showed up, but we won't see them for a few months with Dash Wilder's shattered jaw.
Yeah.
Which
so,
I assume was probably the next feud. But
yeah. So I mean, I could have seen Cesaro and Sheamus breaking up before, but I don't know if the Revival thing kind of keeps them together a little bit longer.
Right.
Maybe milks that out a little bit. I mean, the Hardys are winning the match. That's not really a thing.
I could see a scenario where, in order to extend it, Cesaro and Sheamus win, and then the Hardy Boys get their rematch at Face Fast Lane Back Pay, whatever is next. I don't even remember.
Well, we're still hearing the rumors now we're watching Matt slowly turn here.
Yes.
And the rumor seems to be, I've heard through, well, I haven't heard through anything. I don't listen to things, but I think I saw on Reddit or one of those things that apparently money may be changing hands very soon.
Right.
And just taking care of whatever the owl wants, and then just have that clean break. But you're not going to flip a switch on him. There's got to be some kind of build, and more than likely it's going to be losing the titles to someone, whether it be Cesaro or Sheamus or somebody else, and just this kind of...
Yeah, because he said he was...
Yeah.
So if you look at Twitter, because all of WWE's storytelling takes place on Twitter, he said he was healed from his brokenness when the Expedition of Gold was completed, and they won those championships at Mania. But then he tweets this week that after he took that brogue kick, he could hear the voices again. So, I don't know. Just find your way back to the Lake of Reincarnation, and please be broken.
Yeah, see, it's been tough for me to follow because I've been looking at Tout, and I haven't seen anything come across that lately.
Hey, I have some bad news for you, Tom.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Oh, no. All right. Then, in a House of Horrors match, Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt, not for the title.
Okay.
And all we know about this match, because Corey Graves said it on Monday and then Renee repeated it on Tuesday, is the match will start in the House of Horrors, but must finish in the ring. So it's clearly a pre-tape, and then they battle their way to the ring.
Okay.
But if the house is so horrible, filled
I'm
with
going
horrors,
with horrible.
If it's so
Horrible
horrible,
is a good word. There.
horrible, good. I'm going to use it. #horrible. Just use it all. Please.
We have a show title too.
#horrible. I should put that in the doc here in a second.
Yep, write that up
before I forget. If the house is so filled with horrors, how the hell are they making it to the ring? I don't understand. Also, what house are they using? Are they breaking into someone's house? Randy burned their house down in an act of arson that was never investigated. Maybe Randy's going to get arrested. Maybe the jail is the House of Horrors. I don't know.
So, not that I recommend any other podcast, because you just need to listen to this one, and that's it.
Number one wrestling podcast in the Triangle.
But if you want to listen to a wrestling podcast out of the Triangle, as I have been known to every once in a while, Edge and Christian have their podcast, which is thoroughly entertaining to me.
It's so good.
One, they curse so much on it.
It ruins my whole childhood.
Two, they call each other by their actual names. So when you hear Adam and Jay talking, it's very... Although I don't hear Adam as much, Edge calls Christian Jay all the time. So, but there's discussion on the most recent podcast outside of the guy who does the Stone Cold impersonation, who is wonderful.
Who has his own podcast, and I can't remember what it is.
I can just listen to Stone Cold sing wrestling themes all day long.
This day. All right, now we've turned to the E&C Review podcast. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Okay, so anyway, there's discussion that they have on the podcast about Michael Hayes. Here we go. How he had this idea for this House of Horrors match. And they discuss on the podcast how, I guess beforehand they did their regular segment where the two of them talk, and then they had Eric Young on, and they recorded that segment, and then after that they recorded like kind of the wrap up segment at the end and done over different periods of time. And when they did the final part, it was after, I guess, SmackDown, where it was announced that they were going to have the House of Horrors match, and pretty much the two of them are like, holy crap, it's actually happening. So whether or not this is actually Michael Hayes' idea, I don't know. But if it is, it's going to be a clusterfuck. Because when was the last time? First of all, I had totally forgotten that Michael Hayes was the original manager of the Hardys.
Yeah, I'd forgotten that until they brought that up.
Yeah, I had totally forgotten that. I'm like, oh, right, the pants, and the weird mesh shirts, and yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's going to be these type of matches never end up paying off by any means, but at least they're going for a gimmick on the outside where at least WWE is willing to spend a little bit of money and, do something that might look halfway decent, in contrast to like when WCW would do stuff like that, like the Tower of Doom and that type of thing. It was just a cage on top of another cage on top of another cage, and like there's an electric chair in it and random pieces of barbed wire and Cactus Jack in a box or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know what to expect. I don't.
This is what I'm looking forward to most, though, because I have no idea what the hell's about to happen.
It's true. I mean,
I'm so excited.
I just don't want to see maggots. I need to restate this as often as possible.
You will see them. They'll probably be thrown at someone. Oh, God. That just gross. All right, moving on.
Yep, done.
I apologize in advance, ladies and gentlemen. The match card on Wikipedia is in the weirdest order ever. Now that I'm looking at it. Neville will defend the Cruiserweight Championship against Austin Aries.
I think they just wrote these down in the order that like they were announced.
Oh, yep. That's exactly what it is. Good call. Anyway, yeah, Neville versus Austin Aries, and what will probably be the match of the night.
Yeah. I feel as if we've seen this recently.
What? When? That was on the pre-show. It doesn't count, Tom.
Right, of course. Yeah, it's going to be probably the match, or close to the match of the night. I mean,
do we think Aries finally gets his win now?
I don't know. I mean,
because my thing is, if he does win, who's another heel challenger he has? TJP?
No.
Exactly. Kendrick?
No.
Then who? That's my only thing with like Neville has to retain because there are no other strong heels.
And I'm assuming Aries gets screwed out of it in some way, maybe with TJP involving in some tomfoolery or something like that, and we just kind of build this a little bit longer. Or maybe just get Aries off of the title run for a little bit and get somebody else in there.
Right.
But, I mean, Neville works well as a champion, and I don't know. I like Aries. I like having him in that kind of position, but I don't like face Aries that much. So I don't know.
He works as when he was first turning and he was weird, kind of really abrasive tweener. It was great, but he's gotten a little too facey.
Yeah. So
yeah, I agree. I'm pretty sure Neville will retain.
Yeah.
Oh, we never said who's winning between Orton and Wyatt, and the answer is Wyatt because that's why the belt's not involved.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't trust Bray Wyatt in high-profile matches, so...
They had Jinder steal the belt from Randy in order to get the belt completely out of visual picture. So Wyatt can go over, so Wyatt can job to Balor.
Right. No, yeah, I guess that makes sense. So Orton's going to win.
Yeah. Okay. Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman. Well, damn. See, Roro is playing. I don't know why I'm calling him that. I apologize.
This is coming in third.
Roman.
I'm sorry. That is another bad creation reference.
What?
You don't even know what that is.
What? Okay, say it again.
Another bad creation.
But what was the reference?
Roro coming in third. Just trust me.
Okay. So if the plan, as has been reported, is Roman versus Lesnar at WrestleMania, because God damn it, Vince is going to give you that match till you like it. and Strowman versus Lesnar at the SummerSlam, I would imagine you have Strowman win here to continue building him to get him ready for Lesnar, and you've still got time to make Reigns look strong because they've not done that enough. Unless the plan has been accelerated and Roman is facing Lesnar at SummerSlam. It can go either way depending. Whoever wins this is facing Lesnar at SummerSlam is what I'm trying to say. Somebody just made a pick in the draft, by the way.
It's not the Dolphins. I don't care.
It was the Texans. They took Deshaun Watson. Here's your breaking news update. That's what you tuned in for, NFL draft coverage, since ESPN doesn't have anybody to cover it.
I was going to say, you just covered the draft, therefore ESPN just fired you.
God damn it. All right, Reigns versus Strowman, your thoughts?
Strowman would be the right way to go now, and I think there's a window here where you can keep Reigns strong just for the fact that they've already built the fact that he's been beaten senseless. I mean, and killed. He was killed repeatedly, dead by Strowman, who actually literally buried him, set him on fire, and then chopped him into pieces.
Wow, I missed that part.
Yeah, sold it.
That was not on the Hulu cut.
Yeah, well, that's why you got to watch it live, man. Anyway, Strowman decimated him in that match, made him, gave him weakness basically by putting him in the hospital, hurting him. So he's not coming back 100%. Add that onto the fact that he's not emotionally 100% there. They can build off of that horrible aspect of the angle because they're doing that. And Roman's already talking about equating the death, the actual real life death of his brother, to an kayfabe attack by Braun Strowman. So, yay, it's like it's Memphis. But it gives him the opening to be able to lose the match because you can turn around and build that up and go, well, his mind wasn't 100% there. His body wasn't 100% there. That's why he couldn't come back. And you have Strowman almost not being able to put him away, but fine. I guess the way that Reigns took out Taker, basically, that he gave him pretty much everything that he had, and he should have been able to beat him, but he kept kicking out until finally he couldn't take it anymore. Do it that way, on the opposite way. Have Strowman give him everything that he's pretty much got, and Reigns keeps kicking out because heart of a champion or whatever the hell they're trying to build with him maybe. But he's still not 100% there, and he ends up losing the match because he can't. His body isn't 100%. His mind isn't 100%. It's still going to keep him strong, but it allows Strowman to keep being built strong so that if they're going to put him up against Lesnar or whatever, it keeps him that strong and doesn't make the last few months a complete waste.
Yep. Totally agree.
So Reigns is winning.
I'm going to save that F-bomb. I'm going to give myself one a show from now on, and I know where I'm placing it. And I bet you know where I'm placing it. Seth Rollins versus Samoa Joe in a singles match in a feud of whatever.
I think it'll be fun. It'll be a fun match. I mean,
it will.
For actual storyline purposes, it's nothing. But I mean, it'll be a good match.
Right.
I enjoy watching Seth Rollins wrestle. I enjoy watching Samoa Joe kick people.
Yeah, and it'll be a good match. It will be the second best match of the night, behind Neville and Aries. And Rollins needs to clean up his new finisher a little bit, the Rainmaker knee strike thing. But yeah, it'll be fun. I mean, I would assume Rollins wins here to continue his momentum, unless there's some kind of interference. But if it's a clean finish, Rollins wins.
Yeah.
So,
but maybe we start to see. I don't know if Owens doesn't belong here anymore, does he?
Nope.
So
He's the
maybe
face of
Samoa
America.
Joe gets somebody else in the posse. I don't know. I'm tired. I'm tired of trying to figure out this card in this way because it's a cleanup card. It's not.
Yeah, we're still in shake-up limbo.
Yeah, we're overthinking a lot of these things. I think a lot of these are just going to be matches and not really building to anything else and just kind of cleaning everything up to move on. So
yeah, next Monday at 11:30, we'll have a much clearer picture of why. No, we won't. I was gonna say of why things were done the way they were, but it doesn't even matter because it's WWE, and if it happened 48 hours ago, no one remembers.
No.
Then finally, Bayley versus Alexa Bliss for the Raw Women's Championship. I could see it's in San Diego, so I'm pretty sure Bayley's going to lose this belt. My vote is for Alexa Bliss. In what should be a fine match, but I've grown personally, and I've seen this feedback online a lot too, in the screaming void of wrestling internet. I'm real tired of Bayley's character right now. I understand the value in her as your champion, as marketing and whatnot, in her personality and who she is as a person, which is fabulous for that position. But I am so sick of this character, and it's not evolved since she's joined the main roster. Unlike in NXT where it started as fangirl and then she evolved to become a serious competitor, she is stuck right now in fangirl Bayley land. And I'm tired of it. And I'd love for her to lose the belt so they can maybe move on with her somehow and maybe put some fire under her because she lost the belt.
She needs a losing streak is what she needs.
Yeah.
Losing to Alexa, losing the title, and then doing the final turn where what's her face? Why can't I think of her name right now? Sasha Banks turns against her. So it's like you lose your title, you lose your best friend. You got to hit that kind of rock bottom, and that's where she needs to go. She needs to hit bottom and then work her way back up again.
That's essentially what happened in NXT, right?
Yeah.
When the BFFs started going batshit crazy on her. And that's when she fired up.
Yeah, I mean, she needs to kind of, I mean, it's weird to say, but she needs a losing streak. Mm-hmm. She needs to not be looked upon as, because she's gone into WWE and it's a mixed message that's being sent because she's this kind of fangirl, do I even belong here type of gimmick, but she's being pushed as being strong. It's no, you're not supposed, and we've gone on about this numerous times in the other podcasts, how like if you're going to put her in this kind of Mikey Whipwreck type role where she isn't expected to win, but she's an underdog, but she ends up doing it, you can't put her up top and put her up against the top talent, the top ego type talent, and have her go over there and it is, she's getting in. It's weird because she's kind of got this ego now, like I'm the champion, and as a champion, a champion should have that kind of ego about them, where you have this confidence where, yeah, I'm the champion now, I should have this confidence. And it's weird because like she'll turn around, she has the confidence, but the way she talks, she still talks like the fangirl or whatever. So it's a bizarre mixed message. It's like two writers are combining to write for her, and neither one of which are reading the other person's lines. Yep. And yeah, I agree. I mean, I love Bayley to death. I mean, I fell in love with her in NXT with the matches with Sasha and just all that. I mean, you can tell just by that she can wrestle a hell of a match, she can tell a hell of a story, and none of that is happening right now, and she just needs this clean slate to just start over. I mean, and it's best for everybody.
Yep. And here's the thing, if you're going to book that losing streak, she can't just be getting squashed. She needs to have several competitive, high-quality matches that she loses by one step, one miscalculation at the last second, and it turns. And that's when the frustration and the fire starts to build in her. It can't be, oh, she's just lost a lot in 3 minutes on Raw for a month and a half.
Dana Brooke comes out and, like, clotheslines the hell out of her and pins her for no reason.
Yeah. Gives her the worst Michinoku driver you've ever seen.
And, like, I just quick, and I'll let it go. I could totally see Bayley working off of a feud and going into this with, like, with Emma, because Emma's such a bitch, where it's like you could see Bayley start to kind of like lose a match here and there, and Emma just getting completely on her case and just working those losses in, and that's what eventually will end up driving her. But I mean, just to be that foil, to just dig at her, I mean, to just work her into that negative spot, for lack of a better term, the bullying maybe that she needs, just being that mean girl to knock her down.
Yeah, I could see a situation where she loses the belt, Emma makes fun of her for it, feud sparks.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, we'll see how it all shakes out on Sunday on the WWE Network, which is $9.99 a month. Sometimes that can be a lot of money, Tom.
It can be. I mean, that's 999 pennies.
Oh God, that's a lot. You could hurt someone if you hit them with that many pennies.
Oh, you do more than hurt someone. That's heavy.
You could paralyze their whole right side. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Too soon. Even I feel bad for that joke. I thought of it, and I just didn't want to go with it, but I've committed.
Well, people won't get it, so.
Yeah. But I guess that $9.99 part of the cost of doing this podcast, right?
Yeah.
Part of the cost of doing business. And you know what? If you feel bad for us that we have to pay for this out of our own pockets, there's something you can do. And you can go to cheatersneverpin.com. You can click on that Patreon button on the front of the website, and you can give us some money. You can give us $1, $5, $10, whatever you want a month, and help us out here at Cheaters Never Pin. Help out the entire Section 328 media empire, and we appreciate that because it helps us pay for the WWE Network. And yeah, I know I can create a fake email address every month and get a free trial, but I'm not going to do that. I have morals sometimes.
We have standards. I mean, come on, we're men of principle.
Right. But yeah, if you appreciate what we do and you like what we do, and you have some extra change sitting around to kick back to us, go to cheatersneverpin.com. Click the Patreon button there on the front page. And whatever you pay what you will, pay what you want, donate to us every month to help us cover the costs of the equipment and the hosting and everything that goes into this podcast in cheatersneverpin.com. And for that, we thank you, and we hope you will choose to join our Patreon.
That'd be swell of you. It really would.
That'd be real nice.
Dude, it's like, it could be just $1 a month. Like, you have that in your car right now with change.
Could be a nickel. Don't even care. So, Raw and SmackDown ratings sucked a fat one this week.
Yeah, that's been happening a lot lately.
So, and I'm sure this kind of carries from our discussion before about how little we actually care about this card as a whole for Sunday. Raw averaged 3 million viewers on Monday, the fourth lowest rating since 1997. Hour by hour, it was 3 million, 3.14 million, 2.88 million. And I look at this card for Payback and how wonderfully it's built, and I can't imagine why, Tom.
I mean, there are a lot of factors to deal with, too. I mean, there's the aspect of there not being any competition, so ratings were going to drop from obviously, it's not 1997 anymore.
Right.
It's you're not going to pull a 6.8 or 7.4 or whatever kind of ridiculous numbers they were pulling during the Attitude Era. That's not going to happen. Raw and SmackDown are still pulling decent numbers for cable television shows. I mean, they're
Right.
still, in comparison to other shows, I mean, Pop Network would love to have 3 million people watch anything on there combined. But, I mean, USA's a major player, and they can't be all that crazy about the ratings getting to that point where they are now. But it's also a product of, I mean, television nowadays. It's the appeal of Raw, and I guess SmackDown to an extent now, was the fact that it was live, it was current, it was kind of must-see, tune-in television. And as television viewers, we're not that anymore. We're not, we need to see the show immediately. We'll catch highlights of it. And WWE has kind of worked its way around that, in that there's so many people that end up catching things the next day. They look at stuff on YouTube. They see things. They pick it up on Hulu. It's all these different ways to see what happened in that day's shows, where you don't necessarily have to watch the product. 15 years ago, you had to watch Raw to see all the interesting things that were happening in WWE. You don't have to do that anymore. And now it's more kind of like a luxury almost, where, if I'm not doing anything right now, I'll watch Raw. Yeah. Where before you had to kind of make time for it, because if you missed it, somebody else was talking about it, you're like, oh crap, I missed it. Nowadays, it's not like that. It's kind of a luxury to turn around and sit and watch it live and have little text threads that we do back and forth. But again, I mean, it was the thing of, I watched Raw live this week. I didn't watch SmackDown live this week. I saw highlights of it after the fact because I had other stuff that I was doing on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And if you look at when they do their financial reporting every year, or every quarter, I should say, they really backed off. Well, they have nothing to tout, but they've really backed off touting their ratings and their viewership.
Wait, tout's still a thing again?
I think it could be another show title.
Okay.
Put
that under number 2.
I will. They don't boast anything about the TV viewership. It's, we had 1 billion impressions on YouTube in the last 12 months. And, we had all the top trending hashtags on Monday nights for however many months. And, WrestleMania was engaged by 130, I'm making this number up, 130 million people on Twitter. And, I understand the engagement and all, but when it comes down to it and you look at their financials, they make all their money from their TV contracts. And if I'm NBC Universal, if I'm Sky Sports, which, I don't ever see or know anything about ratings abroad, this is concerning. in 2 years when we have to go sit back at the table with Vince and with Barrios and with WWE and say, all right, we gave you half what you wanted last time. You're performing less than that. I'm not going to give you as much this time. And this is in a time too, like, we're going into the summer. This should be when their ratings are at their highest because they're not up against Monday Night Football. They're not up against college football. There's nothing going on. Right now, yeah, you've got the NBA finals going on, which is a huge ratings pool. But that's only going to get bigger as it goes deeper. And they're already starting to hit rock bottom. I mean, when we get around to the fall and Monday Night Football starts back up, the warning sirens could be very loud. And I don't know. There are a lot of things you can blame it on. You can blame it on the lack of storytelling, which we've chronicled tonight just talking about the Payback card. You can blame it on the lack of star power. Because Cena's on Tuesday anyway. But there's no one on Raw who's even close to the level of John Cena in his ability to draw. I don't know what they do right now. I mean, whatever they do is going to take time, and it's going to take an effort to build money drawing stars, to build storylines that people want to see instead of being so short-sighted and booking on the fly and changing with every whim and booking for India. I don't know what the issue is, but it's super concerning to see that. Now, am I worried about the state of WWE? Am I worried about them disappearing in the next 12 months? Absolutely not. It's a billion-dollar empire. But the trend is there, and it's steady, and it's concerning. And I'm very interested to see when... Have they already had their Q1 call?
I don't know. You follow those things.
I need to look and see. I think they did. So let's say the Q2 call, which will have the WrestleMania financials, which we know this was yet again a record-breaking Mania for dollars. But
so much money.
Yeah. But yeah, they're bringing in all this money, but when their TV contract comes up, are they shooting for flat? Which is not going to be good with the stockholders, which is going to plummet the stock. So I don't know. This is vaguely wrestling related in that it's business, but we know wrestling is cyclical anyway. Like it's up and it's down all the time, and it's everybody. But hopefully it goes back on the upswing. And yeah, you mentioned competition. Vince has always thrived in a space where there is competition and he feels like he needs to beat and destroy something. And there is nothing close to him that he needs to destroy at this time. There hasn't been anything close to him since 2001. So I don't know. And it's concerning. At least SmackDown is strong. It's still seeing the highest viewership it's seen thanks to going live. It averaged 2.5 million viewers this week, which is the first time it's been that low since December 6th of 2016, but it still placed third in the 1849 demographic on Tuesday. But it's still trending down. I'm going to blame that on gender.
You would.
I would. But anyway, we could talk ratings and crap like this into the ground. But
I think we already have.
Yeah, it's concerning. That's all. It makes me nervous because I love it, and I don't want to see it get hurt. I don't want to see them have to shrink, which would be terrible. But you know what's not shrinking, Tom?
What's that?
The amount of music you can listen to with Amazon Music Unlimited.
Really?
Absolutely.
Well, when you say unlimited, that just makes it seem like it's something that's very large.
Well, it is. It's a premium music subscription service with tens of millions of songs and thousands of expert program playlists and stations, Tom.
So if I wanted to listen to, I don't know, the Dave Matthews Band.
You could do it on your smartphone, your tablet, your PC, your Mac, your Fire TV, your Echoes, your Dots, that new fancy Amazon Echo Look thing that takes pictures and tells you how you look.
Yeah, that's a little weird to me.
It's so weird, but anyway, we love it because they're a sponsor. You know what's even better, Tom?
What's that?
It's never got ads, and you can download all that music for offline listening.
Because I hate, listening to a product that I like and having an advertisement in the middle of it.
It's the worst, right? Who the fuck would do that?
That's hard.
Damn it! All right, anyway. And also, Amazon Music Unlimited gets to know you, personalizing your recommendations based on your listening habits. You can create all kinds of playlists and stuff, too. And if you're a Prime member, you can sign up right now by going to cheatersneverpin.com, clicking the Amazon button on the front page, and for only $7.99 a month, you can get all that music. Unlimited, ad-free, available for offline listening. Pretty good deal.
That is an excellent deal.
You know what's an even better deal, Tom?
What?
If everyone listening to this podcast goes to cheatersneverpin.com, clicks the Amazon button on the front page, and signs up for Amazon Music Unlimited, and they tweet us a little picture of that little sign-up confirmation using the hashtag Amazon Music, they're going to be entered to win a $10 gift card to ProWrestlingTees.com.
I like that personally.
There's only one catch. Oh, my microphone clear off my desk. There's only one catch. You got to do it. You got to do it by April 30th. So it's coming up here in we got 4 days. You got 4 days from the time this drops. So sign up. Go to cheatersneverpin.com. Click the Amazon button. Sign up for Amazon Music Unlimited. Tweet us a picture of that confirmation with the hashtag Amazon Music. Enjoy all your music, and you could win a $10 gift card from ProWrestlingTees.com. Boom. It's a good deal.
It's an excellent
it's a good
deal.
little giveaway.
Again, if I were eligible, I would want to be part of that.
I know.
But I'm not.
We're not. Family and friends. Well, family is not eligible. Employees of Section 328 Enterprises are not eligible. So, oh well. 10 count. You ready? We got 10 good ones. Can I take back my F-bomb from the ad? That didn't count, right? Because it was in an ad.
Yeah, well, ads are...
Okay, it's not part of the show.
Count.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So I still got my one. Cool. Number 1 on the 10 count. There's a Vince McMahon biopic in development. WWE Studios is working on it.
So it's going to be completely authentic.
At first I was like, damn it, man. It's not going to be real. Then I was like, no. I want to see what Vince thinks of himself. That's even more intriguing to me. I will be there opening night. Whenever it happens, we will have a Cheaters Never Pin watch party. We will rent a damn theater because we're going to need to rent 6 by then. Because of all the listeners. But we're going to watch it, and it's going to be great.
In IMAX.
Ooh, 3D.
I want to see the Vince.
It'll be crazy the first scene where you see Triple H talk to him about marrying Stephanie and his nose comes out in 3D. It's going to be crazy. Number 2, Tajiri is no longer with WWE. He had signed, gotten a knee injury. It is now gone.
Yeah, it was... I wasn't sure how long that was going to last. Tajiri's up there. He was a lot older than I realized he was. I think he's up there in the Jericho kind of age range. And it was kind of a feel-good thing when he came back for the Cruiserweight Classic, and he did well enough that they went and they ended up signing him. But yeah, they've got the Cruiserweights now are this kind of, I'll say youngish kind of division, but And Tajiri doesn't really kind of fit into the direction that they're going with that. And I think it's best for everyone involved.
For sure. Number 3, the World Wrestling Entertainment and Mauro Ranallo reached agreement on his release, which means he's on a non-compete through some date in August that I can't remember. He released a statement saying this had nothing to do with JBL. JBL released a statement. Yeah. JBL released a statement saying, basically, I'm paraphrasing it all. Yeah, I ribbed people in the past, but that was in the past, and they told me to stop, and I did. I'm JBL. So, adios, Mauro, on to greener pastures.
It's best for everyone. I mean, they were going to ruin him anyway, and from what I've heard too, it's not like it was just JBL that was kind of making fun of him. Mauro's a different guy. It's wrestling announcers are relatively generic with certain exceptions. I mean, you're not going to listen to, say, the difference between Tom Phillips and Michael Cole isn't overly great, and it's pretty much a guy like, I mean, not to pick on Phillips, but it's Tom Phillips' purpose to not be the center of attention. You're the commentator, you're the person who's moving the story along, you're not the story. Mauro was not that. Mauro was kind of the story. I mean, he kind of came from the Jim Ross school of like the oversell and the exclamations and everything like that. Mm-hmm. And that didn't necessarily fly overly well with the higher ups from what I heard. Vince wasn't totally crazy about that, but what they thought they were getting, I don't know, because I mean that's who he is, and
that's how he's
I
always
don't know
been.
And that's what it was going to be. So
yep,
best for everyone involved.
For sure. Number 4, Candice fucking LeRae debuted in NXT.
I heard you scream from like Durham when that spoiler came out.
The NXT taping where this happened. Spoiler alert, by the way. Candice LeRae debuted in NXT. I'm hearing myself. I hear my voice coming back to me through Tom's microphone. And now I don't. Okay. This occurred at the taping that was going on while we were recording last week. And it was all I could do to contain myself. Because we had like 10 minutes left in recording, and I was like sitting here shaking with joy. But yeah, hell yeah, Mrs. Johnny Wrestling, goddamn queen of PWG, Candice LeRae was in a number 1 contenders match. Hell yeah.
But no Joey Ryan, so
soon. That would be amazing.
Would that?
I would.
Is that possible? Because he's
under LU
signed
contract.
With Lucha?
Yeah. So,
and those contracts are like 15 years long.
Something like that. But yeah, if you don't know who she is, get excited. She's fucking amazing. Number 5, in other return news, Low-Key and Scott Steiner returned to Impact. That's right, Scott Steiner.
Okay, so here's my analogy. I was thinking about this earlier. So when you play a video game like a Madden or a hockey game or something like that, and you kind of like take over a team, and sometimes it's not necessarily that good of a team, the first thing you do is you go to the free agents and you look at the list of free agents and you pretty much take everybody who has a high rating and sign them to your team. People that you don't realize why they haven't been signed, people that are listed there for reasons like the roster wasn't updated or whatever. You just sign all those people and stick them on your roster. Now suddenly you have a great roster. It's not a realistic thing because those people aren't that good in real life, or maybe they're injured or whatever. They're on the free agency list for a reason. This is the exact same thing that happened in Impact for whatever reason. They went and they looked. They're like, okay, we need to fill the roster. let's go find the names of people that we've heard of. Loki, I've heard of him. Oh shit, Scott Steiner, remember him? Let's sign him. What could go wrong? And apparently nothing so far. He's been a perfect gentleman, I guess.
Well, he showed up at the end of the taping, and that was it.
Well, I mean, there was some issues backstage that Mark Madden was talking about, but apparently it had nothing to do with Scott Steiner. So,
yeah,
and we'll be addressing that in a later number. But
right, we'll get there.
Yeah.
Number 6. In reference to my previous joke, Kazutori Shibata is still in the hospital, and is getting ready to have a second brain surgery to potentially continue to help him, as he still has right side weakness or paralysis. We're not really sure which. After his subdural hematoma that he gained in the match with Okada a couple of weeks ago.
I know it's Japan and all, but this is a hell of a work, brother.
Right. Well, did you see the Goto Suzuki match from where the spoiler alert? Suzuki is now the never openweight champion. He won, but like the amount of open palm slaps to the head and the back of the head and the jaw, it was yet again more egregious head strikes. And this is Goto and Suzuki. So they're beating the ever-living shit out of each other. Like, stop it.
Some people enjoy pain.
God, it's just it's getting to the point where it's just frustrating me every time I watch New Japan.
And I'm just gonna tack off that saying, because we're gonna get into that later, where I'm going to reference that phrase again.
Oh, great. In number 7, there were 3 releases from NXT this week. Chris Atkins, who wrestled Eric Young in his first match. Josh Bradle, who won the latest season of Tough Enough. He was the Yeti. He's the guy that made all the Wookiee noises. And backstage interviewer Andrea DeMarco were all released this week.
I'm sorry that happened to them.
Yep. All of them made comments where they were like, it was a great experience, thanks. But, moving on. Much like all the ESPN tweets.
Yeah.
Yeah. Number 8, and we kind of alluded to this earlier. Apparently, backstage at the Impact tapings, there was some kind of argument between Bob Ryder, who works for Impact, and Kevin and Jeff Jarrett. The argument occurred after Karen Jarrett questioned Ryder for not booking a certain hotel room, one he had allegedly been told to get for weeks. Jeff Jarrett got involved, and things continued to be hostile until they told Bob to leave the building, and he did. And that's the report from ProWrestlingSheet.com. There was follow-up. Impact President Ed Nordholm said it's an internal matter, and everything's been resolved to everyone's satisfaction. Yay, Impact.
Drummer.
Yeah, at TNA. Wow, I'm surprised. Number 9, in what is the weirdest story of the week, and I have to pull this back up so I can look at this picture again. Bram has been suspended from Pro Wrestling Noah in Japan. He is on tour over there in their Global Tag League tournament that they're having. But he was suspended after he posted a photo to Instagram where he's in a Japanese convenience store and he's laying on, he's actually in like one of those ice cream coolers that you see in a convenience store where you kind of slide the top back and there's all the little baskets with the different treats, and he's kind of laying on top of all of them. I don't know culturally what the hell is going on here. It seems just like kind of immature hijinks. But the chairman of NOAH made an announcement about his suspension, and Bram himself issued an apology saying, quote, "I am very sorry. I will apologize for the decision of NOAH seriously, and I will apologize sincerely," end quote. It was in Japanese, so it got translated. And the photo is gone from his Instagram. Huh? Did you see this picture?
I just pulled it up now. I like the confusion in it.
Yeah, I'm just like... I don't. This is one of those cultural things that must not translate correctly to where I'm like, why does he need to be suspended for that? I mean, that's stern talking too, sure. Because why the hell are you laying in food products? And as someone that is ServSafe certified, that concerns me greatly.
I was going to say, it's kind of a dick move, especially with his feet. The feet bother me the most.
Right, but he's wearing shoes at least.
Yeah, but
is better or worse, I don't know.
You know what your shoes step in, though.
Well, it's Japan. Everything's clean, right?
Sure, there are no dogs in Japan.
Right. But anyway, weird suspension. Again, you go to ProWrestlingSheet.com. The picture's on there with the article. Okay. It's the weirdest suspension of all time. Number 10. At the Evolve show this past weekend, Darby Allin was wrestling All Ego Ethan Page. Darby Allin goes to, I think he came off the top rope or off the turnbuckle or something. Ethan Page swings a shovel at him and hits him so hard right above the elbow right at the bottom of the tricep. Tore his skin down to the muscle. Whew.
Don't do stuff like that, guys.
Yeah. He had to have surgery and have it casted to get it fixed. Apparently there was some muscle damage too. But he'll be back in 3 months. I mean, again, stop doing stupid shit. This goes back to the whole discussion from last week.
Yeah, I mean, stuff like that didn't happen at ECW.
No, never. Certainly not in CZW. Certainly not at the Tournament of Death every year. All right, Tom. Ready for the match exchange?
Cherry on our Sunday.
Let's do it. So last week, I gave you Prince Devitt versus Zack Sabre Jr. from Progress. What'd you think?
You're going to hate me.
Oh, you son of a bitch. Don't even fucking start with me.
It was a very good match.
Go on.
I enjoyed it. It didn't blow me away. I think my main issue is that I am not a huge Zack Sabre Jr. fan. I don't know why. And I just maybe need to watch more matches with him. But, I mean, Devitt was great. And the psychology of the match was great. And just watching Devitt sell his arm the entire time, it's so easy to forget that, to forget to sell an injury, especially with leg injuries and things like that. You kind of shake off because you're still trying to do the moves that you're doing. And just to watch the way that Devitt hung his arm almost the entire match because Sabre kept going to it, and just the counters out of it. It was a very well crafted match, and I loved Devitt's Joker face paint.
So good.
But I enjoyed it a lot. It didn't blow me away, but I enjoyed it very much, and it's interesting to watch them wrestle, especially Devitt wrestle now, because I've gotten very used to him in, I guess, NXT and WWE now, just to see him in a Progress ring, which is approximately 4 foot by 4 foot.
It looks even tinier than the tininess it actually is in the Electric Ballroom.
In a building with a 7-foot ceiling. I'm watching him climb to the top rope, and he hits the coup de grace within the first 15 seconds of the match. I'm just please don't jump too high, because you will hit your head on one of the pillars that is going across the building. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. I watched it again. I kind of watched it. I tried to watch it in the background when you first gave me the assignment, and I realized, okay, I'm going to actually have to sit and focus and watch this match. And again, I enjoyed it. It's not going to be in my top 10 necessarily, and I feel bad because I know that you really enjoyed that match. But it was a very well done match, and I enjoyed it, but not as much as you did.
All right, give me a 5-star rating.
4.25.
Okay. Cool. I just had to start keeping track of that. All right. So what'd you give me?
I gave you technically the second Tupelo concession stand brawl from the Memphis area, where Ricky Morton and Eddie Gilbert took on Masafuchi and Atsushi Onita, accompanied by Tojo Yamamoto.
Okay.
Yamamoto.
All right. I gotta fix my mic so I can actually read off my notes at the same time.
Fuchi.
All right.
Love you, Lance Russell.
So funny. All right. So the match we're in the studio, and then we go to the match, which apparently is a 2 out of 3 falls match, which they forgot to tell us until after whatever the hell happened. I don't know if it was a pin. I couldn't tell. But what we see of the match starts. Eddie Gilbert tags in. It's a nice hot tag. He beats down Masafuchi and Onita a little bit. Gets the pin on Masafuchi. I think. Anyway, other stuff happens. I didn't take good notes.
The match is irrelevant, I think.
Yeah. Bunch of crap happens. It ends up Yamamoto rakes the eyes of Gilbert. There's a 3 count and a fall there. I think it was the final of the 3 falls. Yamamoto has a stick, comes at him with a stick. Ricky Morton ends up taking him, beats him back with it. Then all of a sudden we're at the concession stand.
Because sure.
We didn't see them progress today. It was just like boom, and they're there. We see Ricky Morton and Masafuchi brawling. Gilbert then attempts the most hilarious dive over the concession stand counter to try to save Ricky Morton. Completely fucking misses him. Completely misses him. I just face down into the concession stand. Then we get a moment where Eddie Gilbert hits Yamamoto with an ice bucket. Yamamoto just no-sells it because he knows it's an ice bucket. It's plastic. I don't even know how Onita got under the counter where they sell the concessions, but he fucking blades down there. You see him huddled up, and then he comes up and he's covered in blood. Again, not food safe.
There were so many OSHA rules broken.
Yeah, right. Eddie Gilbert throws what I thought was hot nacho cheese on Masafuchi.
Mustard.
Was it mustard? I thought it was.
It's mustard. Yeah.
Damn, I thought it was nacho cheese because the way he was screaming like he was being scalded to death, I assumed it was nacho cheese.
You know, maybe it was. I was always under the impression that it was mustard.
Well, he was like screaming bloody murder like he was boiling. So I assumed it was nacho cheese. My next note
would probably make more sense.
Yeah. My next note was, this is not food safe.
No.
Then I write, when did Yamamoto get in the stand? Morton throws a trash can at Fuchi, who has an ice bucket, but apparently trash can beats ice bucket. And he goes down. Then I just write, how the hell did they all get color?
Oh, yeah. And a lot,
At this point, everyone's just, there's so much blood. Combined, it probably ranked a 2 on the Muda scale, if you combine all 4 of them. Gilbert starts slapping Fuchi with a 2x4. Why the hell is there a 2x4? Then some guy named Eddie Martin runs in to break up the brawl. He gets hit, no-sells it. Why the fuck is he not the champion? He looked strong.
Yeah.
Onita picks up a trash can. Morton slips on the nacho cheese and dives headfirst into the trash can that he's holding. The ref is flailing like he's on fire. Barling gets Ricky Morton and Eddie Gilbert out. Yamamoto's now just choking some random guy. Then the highlight. Old lady attacks Moto. 2 easy slaps. She sells it like she's been murdered and cries. I don't know who this woman is. Was it a fan that just shows up in the concession stand?
That was Eddie Marlin's wife. Oh, it wasn't Eddie Marlin. Because there was Eddie Marlin, and there was another like general manager, commissioner, kind of promoter type person, and it was whoever was being attacked beforehand. She came in to kind of like, because she was not in on the whole thing.
Ah, that explains a lot.
It was real to her.
Yeah, she went in like crazy. Like I said, Yamamoto slaps her twice, real easy, like real gentle, and she sells it like someone shot her. She's a good worker. Jump cut. Now Ricky Morton and Gilbert are somehow back in the concession stand. I just wrote more trash can by all. Everybody's got trash cans. Eddie Gilbert finds a broom. Starts swinging it at everybody. Everyone is blown up. Everyone is just throwing things. Then whoever the guy that was on commentary, quote, "I've never seen such punishment on both sides of it," end quote. And then I wrote, "But who fucking won?" And that's my in-depth review of the concession stand brawl.
So the story goes. I want to say it's Eddie Gilbert. One of the various shoot interviews that I've watched. And Eddie's talking about Tojo Yamamoto. And basically telling him to keep, like, to stiff him, basically. Like, no, kick's not looking strong enough. Punch is not looking strong enough. Keep doing it. Keep doing. And Eddie's like, keeps doing it. And like, Yamamoto keeps like talking crap to him to the point where it just finally starts wailing on him. And I think it was Lawler or whatever. Like, he's telling the story to Lawler after the fact. And Lawler's like, yeah, here's the thing. Tojo likes pain. So there's like that was just the whole thing, like the kendo stick or the Asian, whatever they call, I forgot what Lance Russell actually called the kendo stick, but yeah, Tojo Yamamoto likes pain, and that always stuck with me when going back to the concession brawl and just seeing him basically take whatever and just bleeding all over the place and going, yeah, he's just having a little vacation right now.
Yeah. I rated this match. I guess I can't really rate the match, but I rated the brawl 4.5 stars because it wasn't in the Tokyo Dome.
Yeah.
So 4.5.
Understandable.
Stars. All right, Tom, what you got for me for this week? What's my homework?
All right. So last week, you seemed a little bit disappointed that I didn't go older Japan with you.
So we're going there now.
So I broke out my 90s Japan knowledge.
Ooh, okay.
So we go to 1993 and All Japan Pro Wrestling. So Kenta Kobashi,
all right,
who I know you're not a huge fan of.
Why?
I thought you had told me in the past that you were not a huge Kobashi fan.
I have not.
That he was greatly overrated, but you may have been really drunk at the time, so never mind. Okay.
Spoiler alert. Probably.
So, Kobashi, now this is 1993 Kenta Kobashi, so he still has knees at this point.
Oh, God. Okay.
So, he has the ability to do moonsaults.
Ooh.
Takes on Stan the Lariat Hansen.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm in. This is a big match.
Yeah, this is the
It's
battle.
huge.
This is when you start the match, and it may not be on YouTube. I have links for you, but
Okay.
and I'll post them. When you start the match, in English it says something like special attraction. So I don't know if it's technically a grudge match or whatever, but it's basically a battle of the lariats because Kobashi had his own lariat and Stan Hansen, of course.
Right.
It is, spoiler alert, it's about as stiff as you can get without Vader's eyeball coming out.
Oh no. I'm really gonna love this after the last 2 weeks of New Japan, huh?
Yes, if you need
Damn
a
it.
safe space away from headshots,
This is not it.
yeah.
Okay. It's a different
Now,
time.
now there's a. I will say this though, at least in Kabashi's case, the hands are generally open, so
Okay.
it's not punches, it's slaps. So chops and slaps, chops and slaps. Kabashi ends up with a pretty good shiner.
I found it on YouTube, by the way.
Oh, okay, so there you go.
Yeah, but it is on YouTube. If you search, so people listening, if you want to watch, just search AJPW Stan Hansen Kenta Kobashi Kobashi. It'll come up. You'll see it. July 29th, 1993.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
That's the one.
Cool. All right, I'm excited. I like some Stan Hansen, so I'm down with this.
And I guess the thing to go along with this is, now you have your own ratings and things like that. Meltzer gave it 5 stars.
Right.
For a Stan Hansen, 44-year-old Stan Hansen, who's probably half blind at this point anyway, to get a 5-star match kind of gives you an idea of
Okay.
gets those expectations maybe a little high. I don't know.
Yeah.
But,
No, I mean, my expectations are already high given who it is.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it. I love me some Stan Hansen.
Yeah.
Brrr.
All right, I got a good one for you.
Okay.
So, in honor of her debut at NXT, I present to you, all the way from Reseda, California, an instant classic from July 27th, 2014. It's Candice LeRae and Joey Ryan, the world's cutest tag team, versus the Young Bucks
Oh, I know this match.
in a guerrilla warfare match,
I know this match.
which is their hardcore match. Have you seen it before?
I watched some of it.
Okay, well, now you're going to watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
It gets
Because-
very bloody.
I was gonna say,
I'll give you
because
that heads up.
I looked when I was doing research on her, and just like a picture came up, and I went, "What
Yep.
the?"
That is then you will learn the story, Tom.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil any. I won't even tell you how it got to that point because I don't want to spoil it. But I love this match. It holds this very special place in my heart, in my like top 15 of all time. And of course, it's in Reseda. It's at PWG. The crowd's on goddamn fire the whole time, which adds to it. It's so good. I'm so excited for you to watch this. And the moment last Wednesday when we were recording, when I saw Candice was debuting, I was like, I know what I'm giving him next week. So I've probably watched it twice in the last week to prepare myself for you to watch it. And it's the Young Bucks and Joey Ryan, which is great too.
I'm assuming there'll be a super kick in there.
There is. All right. Well, that finishes Match Exchange. Week number 2. Week 1.5. I don't know. Whatever we want to call it. But we're done. I think that wraps us up, Tom.
I think it does.
Yes, tell the people where they can find you on the internet.
Go to the Twitter machine look for at Mr. Workrate, at MR Workrate. Feel free to look for me on other pieces of social media, of which I will probably not participate, but I'll put pictures of my kid in hockey gear and his pride tape, so those are always fun to look at.
Yeah.
But just look for Mr. Workrate, and I'm on the other types of things, and you'll be able to find me there. But Twitter's where I talk, so if you actually want to interact with me, why would you want to do that? Hit me up on Twitter.
There you go. You can find me on the Twitter machine at JCBobbitt, at JCBOBBITT. I'm there. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Snapchat. I'm everywhere. I'm pretty much just on Twitter, though. That's where you can get at me. You can at me. You can at the show at Cheaters Never Pin, Cheaters NVR Pin on the Twitter. Give us a big blue thumbs up and a like on Facebook at facebook.com/cheatersneverpin. Maybe we'll do like a watch thread on the Facebook page. Or we can just do it on Twitter. I don't know.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll let you know on both those places. And as always, rate, review, and subscribe to this podcast if you love us on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, SoundCloud, YouTube, and on Spreaker. Support us on Patreon. Go to cheatersneverpin.com, click the Patreon button, kick us a buck or two if you feel so inclined to help support this podcast. And also Amazon. Go to cheatersneverpin.com, click the Amazon button on the front page, do all your shopping through that, kicks a few cents back to us. Also, if you sign up for Amazon Music Unlimited using the link on our page by April 30th and tweet us a picture of your sign-up confirmation using hashtag Amazon Music, you'll be entered to win a $10 gift card to ProWrestlingTees.com.
You should do all those things.
Do it all. Did I remember everything? I hope I did, because I started the music.
I think so.
Cool.
There's no turning back now.
Right? Well, I hope I get some more good inspiration this week for your match for next week, but I'm really excited to watch this one. Good comment. All right.
Yes, I'm glad you are.
Anyway, thank you for listening. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back next week to talk what happened to Payback, the fallout from Payback, the build-up to Backlash, the road to Wrestling Dontaku in New Japan, all kinds of crazy shit going down in professional wrestling. Thank you for joining us. I'm JC.
I'm Tom.
And we'll catch you on the flip side.